much. And please, first, what's your name, please, and what are you, the main opinion of this G8 summit in this Germany?
My name is Aditi Sharma, and I'm from ActionAid International. I think for us, one of the most shocking letdowns is that in 2005, the G8 leaders promised that they would achieve or help to achieve universal access to treatment, prevention, and care for all those people living with HIV/AIDS, 40 million people across the world. And it's a matter of great shame that they are once again breaking their promise and failing the people of Africa by not delivering any extra money towards achieving universal access. It's now been 25 years, more than 25 years since the AIDS epidemic. All the governments are agreed that it is one of the biggest threats to global development, but also global security, to economies, to people, to families, and yet governments are refusing to act adequately to reverse the pandemic.
Especially that in this summit, before this summit, yesterday we have some march, and what's the impression of the march of this one?
I think while the world media and the headlines and the TV pictures showed the riots, I think for me what was more important was with the peaceful march with tens of thousands of people from all over the world walking together, demanding G8 action. And on the AIDS movement, we walked with our colleagues from Japan, from South Africa, from India, and we were all campaigning to hold our own governments to account on AIDS, but also to hold the world's richest governments and say, show us the money on AIDS.
That your request is money, or what's your main request on this time for Merkel, the leaders of this G8?
I think on HIV/AIDS, they've already made many promises. So now we are saying act on your promises. So what we need for universal access, if we have only 3 years to go to the 2010 target, we need more nurses, we need more condoms, we need accessible, affordable drugs to treat the people. So for this, we need the G8 governments to deliver a long-term funding plan for HIV/AIDS. It's not enough to just make piecemeal projects and piecemeal offers of money, of 50 billion here or 100 billion even, but we need long-term funding. Today, UNAIDS calculates that we need between 18 and 23 billion every year to fight AIDS, but we are 8 to 10 billion short of this target every year. So we need the G8 to plug that 8 to 10 billion funding gap, and we need a long-term funding plan or a budget.
So, especially for Japanese society, that please suggest something, because that the next year in Toyako, in Hokkaido, in Japan, that we will have the G8. That this is Asian G8, and then how do you have some hopes or expectation on this G8? For Japanese people, say something.
I think it is very important that Japanese civil society start thinking about and start mobilizing now on all the issues that matter to global civil society. So climate change in Africa is already on the Japanese government agenda. We must make sure that we don't have more new initiatives and more new words and more new promises, but we have actual delivery on some of the promises made, like 0.7% of aid. When will our governments meet that commitment that they made over 30 years ago to give 0.7% to aid, to overseas aid? Then on HIV/AIDS, 2008 will be 2 years away from the 2010 target. Will we really be able to treat 10 million people who need treatment? just now, we're at the rate at which we're going, we will not even be able to meet half of those people. That need. So we really need to scale up and step up urgently our response. And so we really ask the Japanese civil society to start working now to influence the government's agenda and to mobilize public opinion, Japanese public opinion, so that and parliamentarians, so that everybody can work together to ensure that HIV/AIDS is high on the Japanese G8 agenda.
Thank you very much. So Japanese role is important or not?
Of course, and particularly on HIV/AIDS, at the moment, the focus is often on Africa, and the HIV/AIDS pandemic has a very the deepest scar it is leaving on Africa, but increasingly, countries like India and China in Asia are, countries with a very heavy and growing population of HIV-positive people. India now has the most number of HIV. So for Asian governments to recognize that now the pandemic is hitting their own countries, it is no longer far away across in another continent. And so it is very important for Japan to play that role and to bring Asian governments, but also Asian civil society together to talk about a regional approach to their own HIV/AIDS epidemic, which is going to really impact on people and societies.
Thank you very much. That the HIV/AIDS is cross borders, and yes. Then that we cannot prevent it without a good cooperation all over the world. Thank you very much.
Thanks.